Okay, I am back once again, and this time a lot sooner than last time, so give me a round of applause. Doing good. We're getting there. Actually content creating. So for this episode, I decided to come in with 4 goals in mind. Well, 5, but really it was 4. The first goal was to organize my entire library of variables and blueprints and stuff like that. Goal number 2 was to add in my first person arms, which were basically missing since the previous episode. And then goal number 3 was to add some AI, some artificial intelligence to this game. And that's why I think that low-key this episode might be one of my most satisfying episodes yet, because I genuinely made some real progress into making this game feel like a game. Another goal I wanted to do was implement my first UI elements, my first forms of user interface. And when I put all of this together, it creates something I'm very proud of. So let's get started. Alright, hello, it's me 30 minutes after recording that intro because I realized I accidentally deleted both day 1 and day 2's recording. So I'm just going to catch you guys up to speed by explaining everything I did for days 1 and 2 right now. So I can show y'all right here. Day 1, we organized the blueprint names, variables, and assets, okay? So basically what I meant by organization was essentially this. As you can see here on the left, all of my variables now have a correctly attributed naming convention. I don't know if I'm overcomplicating the way I just said that, but basically everything is named nice and neat. We could even go to the player animation blueprint, same thing. We can go to the enemy basic blueprint, same thing. Everything here has names. Everything is also organized within the folders. So the AI folder has the enemy basic blueprint class. And as you can see here, I also tweaked settings related to the camera and almost got them to work. Now, of course, I wrote that on day 1, but now things do work and we can actually go in here. And so this is kind of spoilers, but as you can see, the arms are now floating on our character. I don't know why it's so... I feel like it wasn't like that last time. But you can see that our arms are now floating. And you can also see that I brought back my head bob animations, which honestly, looking back at them, they look pretty terrible. It looks pretty bad. But the good thing is that our arms are working now. So I did manage to get that done on day 1. So day 2 comes along. I get the arms to a point where I'm pretty happy with it, but it comes with a little bit of problems with clipping and stuff like that. But I figured that I wasn't gonna waste my time trying to fix that right now, because it didn't really make a whole lot of sense to try and fix a placeholder model, you know? And then after doing that, we got into the real fun part, which was incorporating my first AI systems. So it all started with a blackboard. I created this blackboard and I created these variables. It's player actor, distance to the player, whether or not you can see the player, and the self actor, right? To basically explain this the best I can, these are essentially our keys, and these are the variables that we use within this menu, the behavior tree. So it starts with a root and then it goes into a select for starters. It'll get the blackboard base condition, takes the key that we made, distance to player, right? When it gets that, it'll move into the basic enemy attack. And this, when it's not working, will move on to here, to the BTS find player. And these little circles over here is basically the order in which the nodes are executed. So it goes to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 and to 6. And what this looks like in practice is essentially when we hop in game, you can see here that the enemy will move towards you, right? And they will attack at a certain distance. But essentially, that is just the AI doing its most basic tasks. If you might remember, we had another variable there called can see player. That is for when we add some awareness settings for the AI, so that, you know, if they don't see you, they won't move towards you. but I have not programmed that just yet.
This was a very, very satisfying day for me because, once again, like last episode, I built a lot of these systems myself without any outside help. And so on day 3, I went in and I also transferred all of my damage systems from the player to the enemy, giving them the ability to do damage to me as well. And off of the back of the enemies doing damage to me, I needed to communicate that some way through the player, and so that brought me to doing my first form of UI.
Alright y'all, it is day 3. We are back in it. It has been some time since I last hopped on here, so I have to like kind of remind myself what exactly it is that we were doing and where we left off at. So really, I have to fix the AI because now it's not following me anymore, and then also the death animations are not working currently. And of course, and after we get those 3 things done, I would say we're pretty much finished with like this part, you know, just getting the AI down. All right, so I'm pretty sure last time where we left off was getting these kinds of things to work. Don't exactly know why it is that we haven't gotten them to run again. Let's just hop in. Let's go live. We're gonna go Shift F1 to go into cursor mode. Let's bring up this window. So yeah, it's basically just staying here when it should be also doing this. I don't know why. Okay. So I think what's happening here is that the enemy is not realizing that I am there. So let's fix that. Deja vu, I just been in this place before. Higher on the street, and I know it's my time to go. I realized that I'm doing this basically 2 times. Like this whole thing right here, I've already done that over here. So we don't need this here, which means we don't need these sequence, and we don't need this, and we don't need this, and we don't need this. This just needs to run the behavior tree.
We got a #1 victory royale. Yeah, Fortnite, we about to get down. 10 kills on the board right now. Just wiped out Tomato Town. My friend just gone down. I revived him. Now we're heading southbound.
Now we're fucking cooking for sure. All right, so it turns out I completely forgot to add a branch filter like I did for my player animation blueprint, and I'll show y'all that right now. So look, check it out. They walk towards me, right? And if they throw a punch, they'll be walking. You see that? You see how he throws a punch and walks? So we fixed that part. The other issue right now, obviously, is this. They seem to have a little bit of a problem. My life be like. We do have to fix that.
2 hours later.
Alright, so now I went inside the Blackboard based condition. I figured out how the keys work. So if we go over here and test, I think this should work. Okay, well. So I changed a couple of the values. I made it so that they move to an acceptable radius of 100 units. And now they will attack if they're within 200 units. There is a cooldown of 1 second so that they don't stutter. And so I think now if we hop in here. But now they should just be trying to punch me, right? Yeah. Yeah, look at that! Now their hit animations are also working, and they're moving towards me. They're punching. They. All right, y'all. So I changed a little bit more of the numbers. I made it so that my collision. I made it so that my first-person character capsule component can now correctly receive damage. And so now, if we hop in here, what we should see is a perfectly functional damage system from the enemy. So let's see if that works here. Let's see. So now they're gonna hit me, and look at that. It even spawns the damn particle system, bro. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And look at that. They walk at the same time. I could hit them. They have hit reactions. Guys, this is awesome, man. Like, I'm actually doing this shit, bro. So yeah, now they are correctly hitting me. You can see that their box traces are appearing green, and that's because they are correctly hitting me in the face right now, which is pretty awesome. So now that this is all working, we could cross another thing off the list. Add basic AI, Control Shift X. Boom! That's now done. Now what we need to do is implement the first UI elements. Basically, I'm going to really quick make a health bar for myself, and then depending on how fast that is to do, I might even make a health bar for the enemies.
Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop your fucking lying.
User interface, widget blueprint. Look at that. We're gonna call it basic HUD. Brand new system. My god. Now this should be fun though. I mean, this is essentially design. All right, so I think I got it to where I want, and now we have to make it so that it actually updates the health bar. So all right, y'all, let's test it out. I think I got this to look pretty good, and there it is, baby. There's my health bar. Now, does it work? Let's see.
No. Wait.
And I died. Look at that. All right, so now, since that was actually pretty quick, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a game over screen, which shouldn't take too long. We're gonna make it very Dark Soulsy. You died. Boom. All right, let's make it red. Give it that extra Dark Souls-like type of vibe. We'll make it like a dark red. Yeah. All right, now we'll get this. We will go here. We'll put it right in the middle here. And then we get another text block. We're gonna name it Restart. Open level by name. I don't even know what my level name is. Hold on. All right, let's file. All right, y'all, so I think I now coded a game over screen using kind of like a similar idea to the other one. Let's play. So there's the health bar. Oh my god, y'all. All right, we took some damage, we took some damage, and we're dead. And nothing happened.
Bruh.
All right, now I think this should work. Let's see. Oh. I think I found out what it was. I had that shit reversed. There we go. We got it. And now we died. Restart. Oh my god! We actually did that shit. We could punch, they react correctly, and they hit me, and you can see I already lost some health, and now I died. And then you can press restart and start it all over again, bro. It is just that simple, bro. Look at that. Look at that, bro. We got there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go over to the notepad. Implement first UI elements. Control Shift X. The camera, we can make it better. I'm not gonna do that this video. Let's just pretend I never even added it.
And with those 3 days of work combined, I can safely say this is probably the most impactful episode overall. And so that brings me to what I want to do for next episode, which is gonna be trying out my first form of sound design. Basically record myself stepping over some grass, the sounds of, you know, punches and stuff like that. I also want to try and build out a single level, maybe even build out a start screen, and so that like there's kind of like this semi-playable game in this game.
Oh, brother!
So yeah, that's essentially gonna do it for today's episode. It's definitely a little bit shorter, but that's kind of the point. I'm gonna try and make these episodes shorter, but also more consistent. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this new format and this new video half as much as I enjoyed making it for you guys. And with that being said, I will just see you guys in the next one. Peace.